and now we get into a review of Deadpool: The Circle Chase. And before we get onto it, I'd like to show you that I said let me go into my shed and go in the old toy box to pull out some old figures I have that appear in this comic, in this story arc, and
You
that
have
is
the old.
Deadpool.
Oh yeah.
I've showed him before. And there we go. His mask comes off to show his pretty face.
Look at that.
And then this other big old guy. The toy's not so big, but it's Juggernaut. And look, he has the ability to dance.
That's the old Toy Biz first line of figures. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good stuff.
And now I'm ready to make everybody jealous. And that is that I have the figure of Comcast, and my figure has one arm.
Holy smokes, Deadpool got to him.
yeah, exactly. Deadpool got to Comcast. Actually, I used to make my toys wrestlers, and it was in a wrestling match. He lost his arm.
That they even made a figure of him is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. What do you have, a strainer on top of your head with an antenna?
Yes. And I remember for years I had I don't know this guy's name. And then, when in my 20s, started to get back into reading comics, and then I saw him. I'm like, okay, this guy's name is Comcast. There he is.
Not to be confused with the major cable news collection of channels conglomerate that owns Universal, that has poor customer service. Yeah. That character also has poor customer service because he's a villain.
Yes, he's not the best with people.
Right. Well, Sonny, if you don't mind, I'll go into the credits. All right. So credits for Deadpool: The Circle Chase. And I am going to mispronounce these names because I am horrible at pronouncing names. So if I get it wrong, don't beat on me too hard. Just tell me, Tim, you're wrong. The writing goes to Fabian Nicieza, I believe. Pencils go to the ever wonderful Joe Madeira. Inks go to Mark Farmer. Colors to Glynis Oliver. And letters to Chris Eliopoulos. So, storyline for The Circle Chase. This story takes place over 4 issues, and it goes running. So Deadpool is in Sarajevo, in a country called Yugoslavia at the time. And during that time, there was a big giant war going on. And Deadpool is in the middle of doing what Deadpool does. And come to find out, Tolliver, who we will know from back in New Mutants 98, the person that hired him to go after Cable, has died. And he has left a will out called Tolliver's Will. And whoever gets it and figures it out gets the what did they say? The most dangerous weapon in the world, or the greatest weapon in the entire world. Yep. Yeah, and all kinds of other things. Well, Deadpool and Weasel are on the hunt for this. But on top of that are other characters that are on the hunt for that too. And that is Kane, otherwise known as Garrison Kane from Do You Know? Juggernaut and Black Tom Cassidy, who gets a facelift in this story. Vanessa Carlisle, I believe is her last name. Yep. She is known as Copycat in the comic books, and she posed as Domino in the New Mutants and X-Force for a time until she was discovered. And a bunch of other characters, one of which was only in it for a couple of scenes, but his name stuck out to me so bad that I had to write it down, and it is Sluggo.
That's the one Copycat.
Yeah. He comes in, where's Vanessa? Have you seen her? No, I haven't seen her. I don't know where she's at. Is she in trouble? No, ma'am, she ain't in no trouble at all. Bye.
Yeah, she manhandles him.
Yeah. So yeah, the chase is on for Tolliver's Will, and everybody is hunting for it. And a lot of people think that Vanessa has information because that's what she does. That's part of her powers, to store information and retrieve information from people. A lot of people think that Deadpool has some information because he worked with Tolliver, and so on and so forth. And contracts are put out against him, and Vanessa and Juggernaut and Black Tom Cassidy are in it for all of 2 issues, I think, because they want the will as well. And the scene that takes place with them and Deadpool on the airplane is amazing,
Yes.
and I love it. I don't want to go into a whole lot of the story because, like, at first, the first issue makes jack sense. It makes zero sense. It gives you the basis of what the heck's going on. And you got to kind of catch it real quick as you're reading, because the pace of the first issue is just lightning quick, and it slows down a little bit through issues 2 and 3, and then in issue 4 it picks right back up again. So I'll just go into my thoughts a little bit. Now, the artwork here is absolutely gorgeous. This is how Deadpool was meant to be drawn. And Madira's work is easily recognizable and wonderful to look at. This is also the yeah, look at that. That is beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
This is also the series that I personally think really starts Deadpool becoming what we know of him today, right?
Yeah, Deadpool is a lead, yeah.
Yeah, well, not only that, but like his attitude and personality, instead of being the carbon cutout character and the blanket assassin that he was, he really starts to get some serious personality in this series, and it's awesome. Animated expressions and character work use the comic medium to its full advantage here, and Madira's artwork is perfect in that sense. The panels flow very wonderfully, very fluid, and it just looks awesome. This was meant to be in a comic book. It was meant to be done in comic book form, and it works really awesome visually here. So many characters, though. Like, there's so many of them, and with all those characters, you have a buttload of subplots. So not only is the main thing taking place, the circle chase for Tolliver's will, but you have the Vanessa subplot, the main bad guy, Slayback. You have him in the background trying to get to Deadpool in the first place. You have Juggernaut and Black Tom Cassidy, Kane in the middle of all of that, Sluggo for like 5 panels. But yeah, so many characters, but it's almost to the point of overwhelming, but it isn't. Like, it's right at the edge. I love the many different locations that the story takes place in. This is a truly worldwide story, and it barely takes place in New York, let alone the United States. Like, you go to India, you go to Egypt, you go Yugoslavia, you are all over the place in this book, and it's awesome. And like I said, the pace of the series just moves.
Right off the bat.
Yeah. So, bottom line, it was an absolute blast to read. This is a book that is highly entertaining. And if somebody wants to read a comic book for a comic book, this is where I'll point them. Read Deadpool, The Circle Chase. You'll love it. It's absolutely fantastic. So for the grades, overall, I'll get to that in a second. Writing, it gets a solid 8 out of 10. It's not a reinvention of the comic book page or anything like that, but it's a great story. It's really well written by one of the co-creators of Deadpool. So yeah, Fabian's work here is perfect. It's top notch. I mean, it's not the best story ever written in any sense of the word, but a solid 8 out of 10. Great story. Artwork, on the other hand, I give that a high 10. It was wonderful to look at. No page, no panel, no line sketch did I ever look at and be like, man, that just doesn't look good. And in part because of that is because of inks and colors, Mark Farmer and Glynis Oliver. The colors on that book really popped, and the ink work on that too took Joe's pencils and really defined them. So this is where the entire creative team, and even the letters in there too, by Chris Elopoulos, wonderful. The whole team made this book what it was, and they did a wonderful job. So artwork gets a 10 out of 10 for an overall score of 9 out of 10.
Okay, very good.
Yep.
And you have Jamie's.
I
Very
do. So Jamie's score is lower than mine, but still pretty high. He gives this an overall score of 7.6 out of 10. And he gave me 3 reasons why it gets like that. One of those reasons was he said he did not care for the layouts too much. And that was the only negative point that he gave me. And I'm sure there's others, and we can ask him next week. But some of the positives that he said here was that it is the pinnacle of Deadpool for stories. And he also said what I just went over, and you and I both agreed on: art and colors go very well together here. So yeah, Jamie scores a 7.6 out of 10.
Okay. Jamie says good. You say very good.
Mhm.
And for me, Deadpool, the Circle Chase. Tim, you're going over it. Yeah, like there's a lot of highlights, a lot of characters.
Yeah.
Like the artwork is amazing, and then too, just super for me, it's super fun story. Like this is one that's just fun. Like you said, if you want to point somebody, hey, what's a fun comic? Deadpool, the Circle Chase. If you want to get to know Deadpool, I would point them towards this direction. Say, hey, this is pure Deadpool. This is the story. They had him as a lead, got him into being his personality. And two, sometimes even if you are a bit younger, like I'd say someone's like, hey, I don't want my kid to read something that's too adult. Even though he was still Deadpool, he was still funny. He wasn't like it wasn't super mature. I think kind of everybody
There
would be
was
able to get.
borderline stuff, but anybody that's reading comic books, if they've seen any Marvel movie, it's not any worse than that.
Yeah, and then too, like I said, I like all the characters. Like I said, seeing Juggernaut and Black Tom, and I love that airplane scene, like you said. Juggernaut. Do I stand out? Are people looking? And he said, hey, we do stand out a bit.
We'll
And
get
like,
some of those airplane bottles, dude. When I fly, I just drink tomato juice. That's all I drink.
yeah. So yeah, it's so fun, and too, like I said, right off the bat, it's not like oh it's slow. It just takes you in, and you're in the story. Even like you're trying to figure out a little bit, but it's just action, action. And
Yep.
then too, there's like I said, Deadpool is funny, action is great, it moves along fast, and then for me, like I said, I was going through it. It's just pure fun. So we don't want to go through too much. It's pure fun. And I said, if there's anything that's missing, I said maybe be a little bit of heart to the story. And then towards the ending, Deadpool, you see the ending. I don't want to give too much of away. I recommend definitely everybody checking it out. And then the ending really shows Deadpool's heart. And like there it is. That's the one thing I was missing. And now we have it at the end. For me, it's one of my favorites. My favorite Deadpool series. It's one of my favorites. Something I love. So I'm going with a 10 out of 10 for Deadpool, the Circle Chase.
10 out of 10, ladies and
That is right.
gentlemen.
10 out of 10. So Jamie, 7.6. Tim, you give it a 9.0, and I
Yep.
give it 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Another cool thing about this story is this story is the first real time we get a big deep dive into his origins.
Yes, yeah, we did see a bit of his back. Went thanks to this guy, Comcast painted a thing on Deadpool's head, and you see a little, get out of my mind. That's a little bit of Deadpool and Vanessa / Copycat's past. Yeah. I thought it was interesting too to see Vanessa liked it. Let's say if you're used to the movies, she's a woman. She's a likable character, but in here you see she's a whole different character in the comics. She has a dark past, like they've mentioned in the movie, but here they go more deep into it. And then also you see that she's a mutant as well.
Yep, absolutely. Right on, Sonny. Those grades are good grades. All good. 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, and 7.6 out of 10. Awesome.
There you go.